Hey everyone, it's Kristen with Somatics, and I'm pretty excited to talk to you today because I had somebody in the studio yesterday who is taking up canoeing. She's doing paddling with groups, and she says they do a lot of intense stretching when they are done with their paddling, and she said, what can I do that's not a stretch? And what's a pandiculation that I can do as an alternative to their stretches? So we looked at what they're doing, what the group is doing for their stretching, and then we turned some of the moves into pandiculations. Now, if you don't know what a pandiculation is, that's what Somatics is all about. With a pandiculation, you contract muscles, so if you're going to try to release the chest muscles, you would actually tighten in a little bit on them, feel the contraction of those muscles, and then under your brain's control, release them. So, on the other videos, that's what all of the exercises are doing. You're having a contraction and a slow release under your brain's control, and then letting it rest and relax and sense that. So that's what a pandiculation is. So we came up with some pretty cool moves, and I thought maybe I'd show you one or two of them, and let's get started. So when my clients group gets off the water, they use oars. We use dowels for this, just to mimic something in the studio, but they are doing excessive stretching, putting their chest into a big stretch, and stretching is not a pandiculation. It triggers the stretch reflex, but actually makes the muscles want to tighten back up once they're released. So the alternative for this to make it a pandiculation is I had her do a rounding of the shoulders inward. She's got her bar. Actually can put her little pressure inward, pressing the bar like she's trying to squish the ends towards each other. So she feels the bicep, the chest, anterior deltoids, and then slowly release and bring the bar up to the chest. So now the chest has opened and lengthened in the front. It's not an excessive stretch, it's just a release and a lengthening. The back is actually contracted, and then letting it rest. So it's similar to Martha Peterson's cactus arms. If you're familiar with her videos and books over at Essential Somatics, you might want to check that out, but it's similar to that. But now you're doing it standing with an oar or a dowel. So that was one of the moves. So my client also said they use the edge of the boat. It was about this height, so we just played with the table. And when they're rowing, when they're paddling, they are contracting into their abdominals and their obliques with each stroke. They do 16 on one side and 16 on the other. We just focused in on these abdominals and the obliques. So she could contract down, she could kind of press into the table, and she would feel her abdominals contract on this side, which would lengthen a little bit on this side. Then I had her just tap into this area so she could really feel that contraction, and then holding on to that space of her abdominals, slowly releasing and lengthening. So her pelvis moves a little bit with this, and it feels really good. So, if you sit kind of wonky in your chair, you might enjoy this move too. Like people tell me they sit weird in their car, they sit weird at their computer. So try this. So you're gonna feel the abdominals on this side of the body contract, little lengthening on the opposite side. So you're pressing down into your table. You don't make it excessive, don't make it into a big stretch, but feel the contraction in your waist, the side you're bending down towards. You can tap into it a little bit, hold on to the fingers hold on to the ribs with the fingers, and lengthen and rotate back out of it. So my hip opens in the front, my obliques open, and I get a nice lengthening through here. So we practiced that, and then we did the other side. So that was pretty groovy. So there you go. We took two stretches and turned them into pandiculations. It was really fun. We got to be creative and think about what's the intention of the stretch, and then how to turn it into pandiculation. And I really enjoyed doing that. So both of us learned something new. And that's the great thing about Somatics. You are really in charge of how to make this all work for you. Figure out what's tight on your body, figure out how to create a contraction into that area, then let your brain learn how to release it. So if you've got a request for a traditional stretch that's not working for you, maybe if you put a little request down below in the comments, I'll make another video. Maybe we can come up with something new. So I look forward to your comments. Have fun. Take care.